But yes, it is Wednesday night, and I am Dan Lewis. This is On The Bywire, where we bring you the news you know you can trust. Don't know. What's good, my people? So much has happened today. Like, I know I said yesterday, right? Like, there's so much I said the day before, but today, oh my day, I haven't been able to I had to take a nap. Like, I'm known for my naps, right? But I had to take a little longer nap than normal just because of how much is going on. I'm like, I can't keep up with it all. You know that Parliament is coming to an end when all of this kind of jargon's going on. But what's up with the rest of the world, man? Seriously, it's crazy out here. Come on. First of all, like, listen, yeah, shout out to the people, them doing their best, doing their thing to hold this nasty, horrible, disgusting, vile, inhumane, wretched government to account, because you lot, we see you, we salute you, and we got you, yeah? We're by you. Trust me, yeah? The nurses, the hospitality workers, the journalists, the trade unionists, the postal workers, the campaigners, the activists, the organizers, all of you. We see you, man. I'm getting emotional thinking about all you lot doing your hard work. Don't ever give up, yeah? We're here for you. We see you. We salute you, man. Trust me. Like, listen, today, yeah, the government are actually trying to jail journalists for embarrassing them. Let's take a leaf out of Thumper's mum's book here. Now, I don't talk about people's mums too tough. Like, okay, sometimes I do, but you know, like, it ain't a regular thing. You get me, yeah? It's got to be deep in it. But like, honestly, yeah, Thumper's mum said, if you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all, right? Everyone remembers Thumper, Bambi, you know the thing, right? Let's switch it up a little. If you don't want to be embarrassed, don't do embarrassing shit, man. Done. You get me? Come on. I can't. The heat got me dry mouth, innit? Like, I can't even kiss my teeth properly. Listen, if you're not angry, you should be, honestly. In 2010, people warned of the dictator-like actions of the Tories. 11 years later, this is fascism, my G. This, I'm not taking anything else for an answer. Trust me. Listen, if you agree, hit that like button, hit subscribe. If you ain't on YouTube, head on over and hit that subscribe button right now, people. Follow up the thing, support the thing. You know what it is. Listen to what else these lot have been up to, right? 5 Tory MPs have breached the code of conduct by attempting to influence the sexual assault trial of former Tory MP Charlie Elphicke? I don't know. One of them was his former wife or something. Like, raw, come on, blood. A family affair on the whole damn thing. Like, the man's dusted you and tried to do something in Parliament, and you're still trying to defend the man. This is the thick blood of the Tories. Trust me. I don't understand them, man and gal out there. Now, listen, these MPs, they will be suspended from the Commons for a day. Yeah, you heard me. For a day. For one day. Imagine if you could do something against the rules in work and get suspended for one day. Everyone would be busting all over the place. No wonder these lot are doing so much mad stuff, you know. Like, come on. Like, how is that a punishment? They get a day off, but they're still getting paid. I guarantee you, 82K, my John. I don't know any workplace where they will pay you as much as parliamentarians get paid to be just basically an asshole. Like, they are. Like, shit. Boris today admitted he was actually thinking about letting over 80-year-olds die. Like, how do you, even if you did that, why would you admit that, fam? That's like, that's disgusting, blood. Credit to Keir Starmer for demanding an apology from him in PMQs, but shame that over the last year, my man's the same one that's still been saying, we support the government in everything they do during the pandemic. So you support thinking about killing over 80-year-olds, my don? Listen, that ain't as bad as the one who's actually thinking about it, but still, come on. You lot know I love to talk about the weather, but I do not love to see things like what we've seen in China today. The heaviest rain in 1,000 years. 1,000 years, blood. 1,000 years, leaving at least a dozen dead and large parts of the Henan province underwater. Not to worry though, world leaders are meeting in November in Glasgow. They're all flying in on big gas-guzzling jets and traveling in massive gas-guzzling cars. And they're going to talk about how they're going to set a target for reducing their carbon footprints in 30 years. Yeah, most of them will be in care homes and not held accountable for their actions by then. You see me? These guys ain't stupid, bruv. Trust me. While they make their money on their oil and gas prices, Now over to Northern Ireland, and it looks like Britain want to substantially rewrite the Northern Ireland Brexit agreement. I'm not even going to comment on this because it is such a complex issue. And like, I'm going to endeavor to get someone who knows a lot more than me on this one to come on the show and explain exactly what's going on there. Because I feel like there's a lot of people talking the talk on this one, but they couldn't really walk the walk. You get me? Like, they don't know what they're saying. And I don't think they've got the lived experiences of many Northern Irish or Irish people to be able to actually, you know, say what's going on from the art. You get me? Say it with your chest, my don. You know them ones. Real talk. Come on. For the record, though, word is that the EU are not willing to negotiate this matter. It's funny, like Britain come out of the EU and they're all like, yeah, we don't need to listen to them now. We're going to do our own thing. Bada bing, bada boom, and all this, yeah? But then every time they go to do something about the EU's like, nah, fam. Man's not on that thing, you know. Come on. Oh my days. Now, you won't be seeing any Tory tears over this one. Personally, I wouldn't mind seeing some Tories in jail for this one, but it has been confirmed that almost 40,000 people have died with coronavirus listed on their death certificate between the 10th of April 2020 and the 21st of March in 2021 in care homes in the UK. Now, this is data from the Care Quality Commission, and the current government, they don't care. There's a lot of words I could say. They're saying it's a part of the course. It is what it is, but they could have done something. And the way I view it is, when I was a child, you know, I as far as I'm concerned, you don't let people die. If you got the opportunity to keep people alive, you do that. You save people. Superman, he did everything he could to keep people alive, and he's a mythical character. It's embedded in us in everything we do to care about people, want to keep people alive, and not let people die when we can help them survive. And this government are murderers. Yeah, I said it. Now, the current government as well, they love to act like they're offering more than Labour. With one hand, well, with the other hand, they might be taking something away. But currently, the Labour Party aren't really offering much other than redundancies, like, and pictures of Keir holding a beer. Like, what are you, Nigel Farage? Get out of my face. But today, the Tories tried to forget about a pay rise for nurses, and just didn't even mention it. And then they come back saying like, oh yeah, there's a 3% one. Like, it's not what they deserve, and it's a slap in the face when you look at the last 10 years, like the cost of living increases alongside everything they've done for us over the last 18 months. Seriously, nurses have and all NHS staff have gone above and beyond, like beyond going above and beyond. Do you get me? If there was a word for going above and beyond, and beyond going above and beyond, then you know what I mean. Yeah, they've done it. They've done it this year, and it's a sad state of affairs, really. 15% for me is just the beginning of what they deserve. I think they should have free parking, no TV license fees, subsidized meals, and family discount on holidays. Damn it, man. These guys, to be honest, the amount the NHS has done for me and my family, and I'm sure for many of you out there, just give them the world. Seriously. These are everyday platinum standard heroes. I talk about Superman before. Give me an NHS worker. They will save my day all the time. Anyway, the Tories then, they come back here. They're like, we're scrapping the 3%. We're scrapping the 3%. Maybe they couldn't handle how easy it was to go above Labour's 2.1% offer. They were like, that was too easy. We can't do that. Honestly, what is the day when Labour are trying to say that 2.1% is the right amount for our nurses and the Tories go above with 3%? I'm losing words. I need to reset myself. It's just scratching the surface of what's going on today. Like, honestly, let's keep the flow, keep the vibe. Don't know we alive. Yes, we run the show. Come on the Bywire. Have you hit that like button yet? Like, if you haven't, please do. Come on, show some love, show some likes, show some smiley faces, and hit subscribe too if you can. Don't know. Now, over to Alvarada. Yeah. Our beautiful friends uncovering Latin America. Human rights report condemns state violence in Colombia. A much anticipated report by the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights. That is a mouthful, the IACHR. They could have made it a little bit easy. They've documented an extent of human rights violations committed by Colombian security forces since a massive national strike protests were initiated in late April. The latest round of protests which have been periodically across Colombia, placed periodically across Colombia since November 2019, but which have massively intensified since April this year, called for the repeal of a tax reform, which strike organizers said would have disproportionate impact on poorer social sectors. This was amongst some other demands regarding the pandemic and an end to killing activists. Like, I'm kind of down with not killing people. I don't know if you watched the show before, but it's not the vibe I'm kind of into. Killing people, it's not cool. It's not calm. Do you know what I mean? Bun the Tories, but no killing people. You get me? You know, casual basics. But rather than respond with at least a statement of intent to have a conversation, the state woke up and they chose repression. Yeah, don't know. Come on, let's just shut up the people. The commission condemned the actions of violence and also disagreed with the government that the activists' actions could be classed as terrorism. It says something when a government block internet access for its citizens. Seriously. But hey, the government don't really care. This is the problem with the type of democracy held in most countries around the world. Real talk. Power is held in money, and those with access to the most money can do as they wish. While children across the world starve, billionaires race to get into space. It is what it is. They're celebrated by the media, and in between, governments do as they wish to keep their rich friends happy. And obviously, the media don't really pay attention to the latter. Big up the people fighting the government in Colombia, and solidarity to you all. Here in the UK, our friends at Hacked Off have been investigating Ipso. It's mad when, you know, Ipso, the independent the Independent Press Standards Organization, they took a year to investigate the scum newspaper. Yeah, we now talk about them ones up here in Liverpool. You get me? The dirty rag of an excuse for a paper identified a victim of sexual assault last year. And this is illegal. Any victim of sexual assault or alleged victim of sexual assault has a lifetime I knew I was going to struggle with this one. They have lifetime anonymity under the law. This is a big deal, though. Seriously, real talk. Like, the paper shouldn't have done it. It's illegal, and Ipso is set up to hold papers to account, hold the media to account, so that, you know, they don't do this kind of stuff. Just like the impacts this can have on the victim is absolutely horrible, absolutely disgusting, unacceptable, and the paper should really, there should be so much more done. But after a year and some action from Ipso, Hacked Off have highlighted exactly how they have failed the victim, their standards, and the people. Seriously, real talk, big up Hacked Off. You lot do a lot of work looking into these things, making sure that the papers are being held to account and the right things are happening. And on a level, papers like the scum just need to be dust off the face of the earth. You get me? Like, I wouldn't mind a few of the other papers, them too. You get me? But that's down to you guys, what you pick up, what you buy, and what you read. If you're clicking on their websites, if you're sharing their links, you're helping them stay active. If you boycott them like the good people of Liverpool, you ain't going to see much of them. Honestly, it's rare that I see a headline from them unless I'm looking at tomorrow's papers today, when they rarely show them there. It's one of them. Boycott the thing, seriously. And if you need to spend that 20p a day or whatever it is you pay on there, send it to us, bywire.news. We'll be happy to accept it, and we'll make sure you own the media. This is the news you know you can trust. Now, the brothers and sisters in Bristol have been looking into a database handled by the police and council that predicts if a child is at risk. Yeah, so Jake Herfer from the Bristol Cable has explained how 90 children may have been wrongly flagged as being at risk of sexual harm. This is a big deal. At least 170,000 Bristolians from 54,000 families have their data held on the Think Family database. It's a system that predicts the risk around a child, set up by Avon and Somerset Police and Bristol City Council over the last decade. Think about how much data is being held there. But with so much data, where's the accountability? Also, who is looking into whether the algorithms on the system are doing what they're supposed to be doing, let alone if the system is being abused? Another question, Should the police have access to data that the council hold? And should the council have access to data that the police should be holding? This is why Big Brother Watch is calling on Bristol City Council to reassess its data collection and only hold information that is absolutely necessary to protect children, and to halt data sharing across public bodies to make sure individuals can be open and frank with vital public services without fearing sensitive information will be shared more widely. Definitely head over to the Bristol Cable site for a deeper understanding of what's going on there. Big up the Big Brother Watch them for looking into this, because honestly, right now, with so much data sharing going on, stuff going on in the NHS, and like the way that the tech industry is growing and data is being held, these kind of things are the things we need to look into. When local authorities, local what do you call it, feds, police, you know, when they're holding this kind of data on people and using it to predict things, and then things like, you know, sexual exploitation and sexual harm, that stuff is serious. We can't make mistakes. And if we look at authority handling of data over the last 10 years, there's not a lot of people we can trust right now, especially when you look at a lot of local authorities, how many problems they have with just handling technology. In the last year, we've seen the majority of local authorities have to go online for their meetings, and the majority of them have had problems with this. Councillors that don't want to do it because they refuse to use the technology. Councillors that want to disrupt because they know that they can do that with officers that don't know how to use the technology. Councillors that say they can't afford the technology. Yet over here, we've got Bristol City Council sitting here checking on how many 154,000 families worth of data, 170,000 people. It's a bit much, right? It's a bit much. We need to look at these things. So big up them, man, for looking at that one. That's on the Bristol Cable, people. It's such a digital age, like so much of our data being used. It's imperative that we're on top of these things. Now over to Manny with Alex King, where the council have decided to remove police from schools. Yeah, you heard me. They are removing the police from schools. We don't have a card for this one for some reason. It seems to have disappeared, but basically it's a picture of feds walking around Manchester. On a level, right, Manchester City Council has decided to pull police officers out of schools in the city following a campaign to decriminalize the classroom, which brought public attention to the issue. What a mad situation when you're willing to put police inside the schools. I swear that's a Labour council as well, you know. So these police school officers, like they're looking at what areas of the city they're going to be put into rather than working them towards parts of the school. It all sounds a bit mad to me. Last year, the Meteor reported that several Greater Manchester branches of the National Education Union, the NEU, passed motions calling on local authorities to decriminalize the classroom and endorse the community-led campaign, No Police in Schools, being led by kids of color. Shout out to kids of color, man. Kids of color, man. You lot are nang, honestly. Keep up your good work, yeah? I know you lot are welcome on the show anytime to talk about your good vibes, the work you're doing to empower young people. It's big. Keep it up, man. It's a real thing. Anyway, bun the feds, yeah? Kids of color have produced a report, Decriminalize the Classroom, a community response to police in Greater Manchester schools, in which they collected survey data from 554 students, teachers, parents, and community members regarding SBPOs. That's what they call them, school police officers, something. A common theme that they saw in the data was the over-policing and the labeling of students from marginalized groups. There are many issues arising around this, and the Meteor have got the facts. So head on over to their site and get the full lowdown. Now, just have a quick think about this, though, on a real talk level, right? You're putting police into schools. The police are meant to be there to protect. They're meant to serve and protect, whatever it is, in the name of the Queen and all of that. But let's just look back at this year alone. When women came out, some men came out to hold a vigil for a woman that was allegedly killed by an off-duty police officer. The police responded with batons and shields and violence. There was no violence. When protesters were peacefully out protesting against the new police and courts bill proposed by Priti Patel in Parliament, and they were peacefully protesting, not just in London, but specifically in Bristol, where we saw it, the police reacted with riot vans, riot shields, riot masks, the whole lot. That's how the police reacted. Now, for me, my experience as a young brown man in and out of East London and Essex, I never felt that the police were there to protect me. I've told stories on this show of times when I called on them to protect me and they ended up laughing at me. I can tell you many, many more stories of where the police have ended up hurting me. I remember so many stories hearing from other young people where the police have not been there to protect. I don't feel that they do the job that they're supposed to, and a lot of the time it depends on the color of your skin, the area that you live in, or the money in your bank as to how they are going to react to your call for help. And when you're putting these people who are taught to act this way, let's be honest, it's institutionalized, because many of those people, I'm sure, are great, lovely people before they started becoming police officers. And I can refer to Chantel Lunt, who's been on this show before, who used to be, as she says it, used to be a police officer. She's seen the corruption inside the force. You're putting these people into schools. Big up the Kids of Color for taking this one on, and the Meteor for actually covering the story and making sure that people are aware of what's going on. Honestly, they've got the facts. Head on over for the lowdown, as I said before. Now, our headline story tonight: Electoral Law. It is here to protect democracy, make sure elections go correctly, stop lies and false campaigns being run, right? It's meant to keep the spending of candidates in check, right? Well, seems the whole system, like this, it's about 21 years out of date, and it's not actually serving its purpose. To be honest, we could just look back at the last 10 years and tell you that without an investigation, like you don't need to have an inquiry about it. But we know this government would rather spend money on reports, inquiries, or investigations rather than listen to the lived experiences of the people that pay your wages. It is what it is. Now, just look at Cambridge Analytica, the 2019 election campaign, and the bias of the mainstream media, for just some examples. Adam Bajkowski from Open Democracy is adding to the dark money investigations catalogue that they hold. Shadowy groups face no risk for breaking UK election law. This is what experts tell MPs. Third-party campaign groups could be a potential conduit for anonymous donations and even foreign money. Open Democracy investigations editor Peter Geoghegan told the Public Administration and Constitutional Affairs Committee on Tuesday. They love these big names. On Tuesday, sorry. There has been a sharp rise in online campaigning by third-party groups. The number of those groups has tripled since 2010, and they spent a combined total of £2.7 million in Facebook adverts in the 2019 general election. Just £2.7 million. That's the kind of money we don't see in a lifetime. You know what I mean? Yeah. And these lot are spending it on an election. This is how much they want to influence your vote so that they get their people in. When people say the government is corrupt, they're not lying. They're not joking. £2.7 million just on Facebook adverts. Think about the influence they have on people. You know what I'm saying, right? And when you compare this to the fines that the Electoral Commission can put against these organizations, they're pretty small fines that won't scare these big spenders. It opens up routes, as I said before, for foreign money to influence our elections. Remember, there was previous times where Donald Trump was like, oh, Russia this and Russia that. 1 minute they're on his side, next minute they're not. I lose track with that guy. But over here, this could literally be happening. Now, I'm not saying it's Russia. Who knows? It might even be countries that have access to a lot of oil that they want to make sure is bought by this government. Just think if there was a guy like who wasn't into oil. Imagine a guy that wanted to be prime minister, that wanted to protect the environment, that didn't want to sell arms to countries that give the arms to terrorists, that didn't want to involve himself in any wars. that maybe cared about children and feeding them rather than taking riches from other countries. You know, like we had in 2019. Imagine how much money these foreign investors or foreign spenders might actually put into helping a government that wants to buy oil, that doesn't care about the environment, that likes to sell weapons and doesn't really care about terrorists getting access to those weapons. Yeah, 2019, people. It's not as you think it was. Open Democracy recently revealed that British political parties have reported donations worth £12.9 million through unincorporated associations in the past 5 years. 4.1 million of this, that's a third, has been declared since Boris Johnson became Prime Minister in July 2019, with the majority going to his party. Lord Hodgson, whose recommendations to tighten the regulation of third-party campaigning in 2016 have not been implemented. And he said that we need an electoral commission that is prepared to speak truth to power. The problem with this statement for me is that when people talk about speaking truth to power, who is it that's doing the speaking? Because those of us that stand outside Parliament, that write letters to our MPs, that set up campaigns and organize in our communities and take the truth to where the power lays, we don't actually get access to the power. The people who have access to the power are the people with money. They already have power. It's the people who have the oil. It's the people who want the weapons or make more weapons. It's the people that are the ones we need to be stopping. So how do we get that access to power? More needs to be done and more people need to organize. And when it comes to these elections, and we can see that not only are the government corrupt themselves, but the people that fund them as well, and the money that's going into them is even more corrupt, and the system just corrupts and corrupts as we go through it. There needs to be more done to get better people into Parliament. If that means supporting local candidates that maybe aren't a part of the three main parties, that's something that some people are willing to consider. That's your choice to make, and it's something you need to think about when we start looking at the next election in the coming years. It's very clear that Boris Johnson is starting to worry about his ratings. Things are falling apart. Dominic Cummings is in the media throwing all kinds of accusations all over the place. On that point, don't forget that Dominic Cummings is a sly little rat. And honestly, he's probably making up some of the stuff, and he's taking some of the blame off of himself. At the end of the day, he was in charge of number 10. And if he was in charge of number 10, why was so much stuff going on that he wasn't aware of? Clearly, he's lying. The people who are in power are playing us. The people who are in power are the Tories. And we need to start looking at the people we support and the people we get behind coming into the next election. They've lied to us for 11 years. They got into a coalition with the Lib Dems on the back of student fees. And that was my generation who wanted that removal of student fees. Start thinking about the next election, people. That's my message today. Start thinking about it and start thinking about how we're going to make sure we get real good people in Parliament. Because if we have another 5 years of what's going on right now, let alone the last 11 years, there isn't going to be a future to wish for. There isn't going to be a future for our children, and their children won't even exist. These people will literally burn the world. Hey, it's already happening. Look at the sea over in Mexico, where the sea is actually on fire. When the sea is on fire, surely we need to start waking up. On that sad note, this is On The Bywire. If you agree with me, hit the like button, hit the follow, hit the subscribe. You know what it is. I'll be back tomorrow for the last show of this week, where we will, I'm sure, have another jam-packed show full of all kinds of news from all over the world. Big up all of our independent media partners. You guys are massive, doing the damn thing, keeping it real. If you can, check out their websites and support them too. I'm Dan Lewis. This is On The Bywire. Peace, love, and keep it real, people.